Can you do slow speed maneuvers on your Harley Davidson Breakout? The answer is yes. Watch this series and learn more. Good, keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Very nice, I'm looking at the camera. Very nice, good, good, good. Preloaders, VI preloaders, welcome back to the channel, guys. Always a pleasure to have you guys here with me. And you noticed by now, or at least you should. For those of you that are new to this channel, welcome to you as well. My name is Robert. I'm a retired NYPD Highway Patrol motorcycle lieutenant. And the name of this wonderful channel is Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. This is my girl, Allure. Allure is my 2023 Harley Davidson Breakout. And Allure's got a pretty bad rap, or a reputation, I'll say. And this is why I have her surrounded with cones, because I've been hearing a lot of people say this motorcycle can't turn. You know, you can't do slow speed maneuvers on this motorcycle because of the big 240 tire in the rear and the rake of this motorcycle, which sticks out further than on a bagger type motorcycle like a Road King or Street Glide, Road Glide, or Limited. So while those things may be true, the tire is wider than those motorcycles and the rake has a higher degree of angle, it still doesn't mean that you can't do slow speed maneuvers on your motorcycle. So let's talk about this. So different motorcycles, for the most part, are gonna have different characteristics, and you're gonna ride those motorcycles based on the motorcycle's characteristics. So yes, I have a Street Glide, I have a Road King, and I have a Limited, and I had a Road Glide. All of those motorcycles pretty much ride the same. Pretty much, it's not even, they ride the same, right? Especially in slow speed maneuvers, they all ride the same. Of course, this motorcycle has different characteristics, so it's not going to ride the same. So what differentiates this style of motorcycle from a bagger? Well, yes, the 240 tire on the back is wider. And we know, and if we don't know, you're going to hear it today, a motorcycle is designed to be leaned. It's one of the three things that's going to determine the radius of our turns on a motorcycle. Our speed, how much we turn our handlebars, and how much we lean the motorcycle. So that's why a tire on a motorcycle is curved, right? And a tire on a car is not, right? A car's not supposed to lean. If your car's leaning, something's wrong, all right? Okay, so with that being said, this tire is wide, yes, but it's still curved. So it's still designed to lean. But of course, because it's wider, it's gonna take more to lean it. I'll get into that in a second. Second, the rake. Now, if the rake sticks out further, it's going to make turning the handlebars feel a little bit heavier, right? The further that goes out, the more it's going to feel, because it's almost like you're not literally doing it, but it almost feels like you're picking up the handlebars, pulling them up and turning them, but you're not, all right? This rake is not excessively shooting out to the front of the motorcycle, but it is more than a conventional bagger. So that's another difference. And then lastly, the handlebars. The handlebars don't turn as far as the motorcycles I just mentioned. So usually with motorcycles where the handlebars don't turn as far, that can be compensated for with the lean angle. Usually the lean angle is higher, like on a sports motorcycle. A sports motorcycle barely turns, but it can lean a lot. This motorcycle, not so much. You actually have less lean angle on this motorcycle than you do on the conventional baggers. So if we already know that the handlebars on this motorcycle are not going to turn as far as on a bagger motorcycle, and we know that you're not going to have as much lean angle as a bagger motorcycle, those two things alone are going to let you know this is not going to be able to turn as tight as a bagger motorcycle. All right? Okay. With that being said, the question was, can you do slow speed maneuvers on it? And the answer is yes. And it's important you guys hear this. I don't care what kind of motorcycle you ride, you can do slow speed maneuvers on all of them. All of them. Because remember, and I say this often on my channel, this is not a competition out here, and none of this stuff is set up to be spec'd for a competition. So with that being said, no matter what kind of motorcycle you ride, you should be able to do these exercises, and the characteristics of your motorcycle should be capable of doing all of these exercises. And if it is not, if you have modified your motorcycle to the point where you can't do simple things on your motorcycle that you should be able to do, I just want you to think about this, all right? I know we want to look good and be cool, but your motorcycle is not safe, all right? This doesn't have as much of a lean angle, but it's still going to be able to let me lean enough where I can do stuff safely. If you could barely lean your motorcycle, it's not safe to ride. You can take it to shows and walk it around or ride it straight up. You can do that, but as far as taking it out on the road, I wouldn't advise it, okay? All right, so I surrounded Allure with cones to let you guys see she didn't break out in hives. She didn't get a rash, right? The lights didn't start blinking. She's not intimidated by it, right? And it's because she knows what's going to happen today, right? Today is day one that I'm going to let her know who the boss is in this relationship. Right? I'm sure she's talked to the other girls and they probably let her know, but she needs to hear it and experience it from me firsthand, that I'm in control of this relationship. I'm the boss, and this motorcycle is going to go where I want it to go and do what I want it to do when I want to do it. Now, here's why I'm so confident, and you guys should be too, regardless of what kind of motorcycle you ride. And it's the reason why I say the first 4 exercises, including the warm-up, so really it's 5, the first 5 things that we do out here are fundamentally important, right? It's the bread and butter to everything else. It's going to make everything else work out for you. And what I'm referring to is the first 5 things that we do out here require no leaning of your motorcycle, 0 leaning. And that's why when people say, well, you know, I can't really lean my bike because I put big stretch bags on it and they're like an inch off the ground. I'm exaggerating that, of course. But the point is, I say, okay, great. But if you learn these first 5 exercises, it doesn't matter how low your motorcycle is because we're not leaning. We're going in a straight line, right? And when we get to exercise number 4, we're actually making a turn. But I want you doing that straight up as well. So this is showing that you have full control of your motorcycle. Doesn't matter how much the handlebars don't turn. Doesn't matter how low it is. Doesn't matter how fat the tires are. As a matter of fact, the fatter the tires are, it'll be easier to do this. All right? All right, guys. So this is going to be a series, all right? I'm not going to do this all in one video and make it really long because I don't want people to check out on it. So this is going to be a 9-part series as it pertains to slow speed maneuvers on Allure. And the series is going to consist of me going through all 9 exercises that we do out here on my practice session. And if any of you guys are interested in the practice sessions that I do out here, I'm in Pooler, Georgia. Go to my website, click on practice information. It'll tell you everything that you need to know. All right? All right, guys. So let me get to it. The first thing I'm going to do is what we do, firstly, when we come out here and practice. Short starts and stops. This exercise is so important, guys. As far as I'm concerned, it is, because right out of the gate, it's introducing to you, I don't want you to let the motorcycle take over. I want you to be the boss. You're going to be doing starts and stops in short spaces. It's 15 feet for me. And it's going to force you to be comfortable going slow with your feet up and then stopping, smooth and under control. Accelerating, smooth, stopping, smooth. Everything we do is smooth. All right, enough talking. Let's do it. All right, guys, this is the warm-up exercise, short starts and stops. And as simplistic as this may seem, many people struggle with it. And it's not a mystery to me why they struggle with it. Most motorcycle riders are very uncomfortable between 1 and 10 miles per hour. And that's why you see their feet out. And that includes moving your feet, walking the bike, or the bike moving and you just having your feet out like this. And a lot of times dragging the ground. That's a sign that you're not comfortable and you're not really clear how to operate this machine at slow speeds. And when we don't know what we're doing and we feel, uh-oh, our instinct is to put our feet out. But what we learn here in Preloader Nation is that's what you don't want to do. It's not about not looking cool or not being laughed at or anything like that. We don't do that here in Preloader Nation. It's about being safe, and your feet are safe up on the pegs or the footboards, not out on the ground dragging or anything like that, right? And that includes when you're falling. But anyway, so we're going to start with this, and this is simply I want you to start at this cone, front wheel at this cone, and bring it to the front wheel to the next cone. You're going to be taking off smoothly and stopping smoothly. That's the goal here. I don't want you to open the clutch quickly and let the motorcycle move fast. That's what people are inclined to do, because that's the other thing we do when we don't like the way going slow feels. Aside from putting our feet down, we'll introduce speed, because speed takes over and now you no longer have to be the boss. It's off of you now, because we all know at the right speed, 15 miles per hour or more, this motorcycle doesn't need you. You could jump off and it'll go by itself. But that's not what we're here for. We want to be the boss of our motorcycle, and it all starts here, just starting and stopping. Also, the beauty of this is you can practice this exercise every time you ride your motorcycle. Your goal should always be, I want to stop this motorcycle as smooth as possible, and I want to take off as smooth as possible. Now, stopping smoothly is important also because when you put your foot down, and you should only be putting one foot down because you should be using your right foot to apply the rear brake. I'll talk about that in a second. But when you put your foot down, sometimes there's pieces of gravel and, loose rocks or whatever on the ground. So if you're stopping your motorcycle and you're like this, right, in that moment, you're not in control. Plus, if you don't have proper footing when you do that, especially if your motorcycle's heavy, that could be a big problem, right? Because a lot of the times we get hurt because we're still trying to catch the motorcycle as it's falling. And, if you don't have any grip, that's why we tear ligaments and all kind of stuff can happen. Forget about the motorcycle. I'm talking about what can happen to you. So I've done videos already talking about coming to a smooth stop. So I'm not going to go over that in detail. But what I will say is when we're coming to a stop, we're using the rear brake only. We're using the rear brake only on this slow speed course, period. We're not using this front brake at all in an exercise. I want to be clear about that. If you're outside of the exercise, you're riding from one to the other, you're going 20 miles per hour, by all means, front brake is going to stop this motorcycle a lot quicker than the rear brake. But in an exercise, during a slow speed maneuver, you should not be touching this front brake. Trust me, you don't want to do it. All right, we're not talking about what's possible. We're talking about what's probable and what's best. As simple as that. The other benefit of this series that I'm doing is you guys can go along with me, regardless of what kind of motorcycle you ride, because all of these exercises build on one another. And everything that you do always comes back to this. Why? Because you have to start your motorcycle and you have to stop. So if we talk about every exercise out here, we could talk about some that you may not do on a regular basis, but I can guarantee you, if you're riding a motorcycle, you're doing this all the time. So if that's the case, shouldn't our confidence in stopping our motorcycle be higher than anything else we do on a motorcycle because we have so much practice at it? Well, that's what we're talking about today. You may not think you're practicing because you're not mentally. That's why I say practice is a state of mind. So if every time you go outside your house to ride your motorcycle, you're always practicing coming to a smooth stop, always practicing taking off smoothly, nothing abrupt, nothing herky-jerky. We don't do herky-jerky here. If you tell yourself that and then do it, that counts, guys. That's practice, right? And you're going to see it's going to start getting better, your stops. You should not be stopping in the front suspension diving. Now, that's about more than one thing, right? Yes, sometimes it's about you're braking too hard, but a lot of the times you're braking too hard because you started braking too late. That's where coordination comes in. You're not coordinated. And this is about, that's why I call this slow dancing. Yes, we're doing everything with grace and fluidity, but it's also the way that we do, the way that we're moving. We're moving slowly and gracefully. And everything we do, we're applying slowly and gracefully, nothing herky-jerky. But a good dancer is always coordinated as well. If they're not, it's not going to look good. Whatever they're doing is not going to look good. And that's you on your motorcycle. If you do something and it looks a little crazy, you're stopping with the handlebars turned, you're not coordinated. All right? Okay. Short starts and stops. Oh my God, she sounds so good. Tire performance, baby. Just the slip-ons. Woo! All right, back to business. We already know the first 5 steps. If you don't know, we're gonna make sure the motorcycle's in first gear. These are steps I always want you to do. Keep in mind, once you get these down, they're not steps anymore, you're just gonna do them. Step number 1, make sure it's in first gear. Step number 2, cover the rear brake. Covering it means putting your foot on it. You don't have to apply pressure, but put your foot on it. And the reason for that is, if you need it and your foot's already there, you can stay in the realm of grace and fluidity and apply gentle pressure. But if your foot's off of it and you, oh crap, you're gonna smash at it. I'm guaranteeing you, it's gonna happen. All right, so step number 2, cover the rear brake. Step number 3, we're gonna preload this throttle and we're gonna keep it loaded. Keep it loaded, all right? Step number 4, we're gonna slowly release the clutch into the friction zone. And then step number 5, as soon as the motorcycle starts to move, guys, get that foot up as soon as it starts to move. Head and eye, straight ahead. All right, head and eye, straight ahead. Preload, keep it loaded, slowly release the clutch. As soon as it starts to move, get the foot up. Rear brake, rear brake, rear brake, rear brake. Nice and easy. Preload. Listen to your throttle. So you see, the throttle's important. Preload the throttle, keep it loaded, open the clutch slowly into the friction zone. Once the motorcycle starts to move, you're staying in the friction zone. Now, how am I making sure? You notice that my handlebars aren't going like this, even though I'm moving very slowly. Am I a master at balance? No, I'm staying in the friction zone, but I'm also dragging the rear brake. Remember, I'm only traveling less than 15 feet. So if I want to make sure that my motorcycle stays true at those slow speeds, the key to that is I have to stay in the friction zone. Keep power going to the rear wheel. Now, clearly, I'm not all the way in the friction zone, right? I'm slightly in the friction zone. I don't need a lot of power. I just need enough to move this motorcycle forward, but it needs to be enough power where it can continue moving forward while I'm applying light pressure on the rear brake. So this is what I mean when I say you have to be coordinated. If you do too much of one thing, it's going to have a negative effect. Let's do it one more time. Make sure I'm in first gear. Cover the rear brake. Reload. Keep it loaded. Don't need a lot. Slowly release the clutch as soon as it starts to move. Foot up. Boom. And I'm applying gradual pressure on the rear brake when I want to stop. I'm dragging it, right? And then when I want to stop, brake, 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 more, more, more. So it's going to stop when I want it to stop. I'm in control of that, so there's no reason why I should be passing the cone. That's my goal. That foot down, nice and easy. All right, guys? So clearly, a breakout can do short starts and stops, right? So rest assured, if you were worried that your motorcycle can't start and stop smoothly, of course it can. All right, guys? All right, listen, I hope this video helped you out, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos. And if you want to be notified whenever I'm coming out with a new video, hit that notification bell and switch it to all. And if I don't make any other videos, guys, you already know this is a series. So part 2 of this series, if you want to make sure you know when it comes out, hit that notification bell. And in that series, we're going to be covering stops and starts. We'll talk about that in that video. All right, guys, love you all. Seat time doesn't equal practice time, guys. And if you have time to ride your motorcycle, you better make time to practice on it. Until next time.